Last class we figured out the different methods we could use to prove triangles congruent, and now we're going to identify the important aspects in each proof. In the next class we're going to put this all together. Alright, so this first problem. First thing it asks is what theorem are we going to use to prove these triangles congruent? So this is what we did last time. So we're going to identify our three facts. So the right and left are congruent, the top and bottom are congruent, and the side in the middle is congruent. So we have three sides, so we can use side, side, side. This one's pretty easy to spot. Now we are going to write those three facts down, and there's no particular order, but let's start with the one that we labeled side 1. Well, that's the left is congruent to the right. Well, these are segments, so name segments. We have two letters, so the left is MN, so we're going to write MN is congruent to the right, which is OP. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for side 2. That's the top and the bottom. So the top is NO, and it is congruent to MP. The third is the side in the middle, and the name of the side in the middle is MO, so we're going to write MO is congruent to MO, and you write it in the exact same order. So those are the three facts that we're going to have in our proof next class. Now we need to write a congruent statement, which we've done before, but we just need to practice it with the picture. So it doesn't matter how you start, so I'm going to start MNO. Okay, and if I look at it, M is in between side 1 and side 3. So I can't start with M over on this triangle on the right because it's between 3 and 2. So I need to start with O because it's between 1 and 3. So it's going to be triangle O. And then over here, second I went to N. N is between the 1 dash and the 2. So in between the 1 dash and the 2 on the second triangle is P. So it's going to be OPM. Alright, let's try this again. So label the important information so you can figure out the method. So we've got angles here. So that's one fact. This is a right angle, so we have another set of angles. And the third fact, because there's always got to be 3, is the side in the middle. Okay, so because this side is in between angle 1 and angle 2, it's the included side. So the method we're using here is angle, side, angle. Now we need to list the 3 things, and I don't care the order, but you need the 3 things so that we can keep track. The angles at the top. Okay, well the angles at the top, I can name an angle with 1 letter or 3. If I use 1 and just call it H, you don't know if I'm talking about the left or the right, so I have to use 3. So the first one is going to be angle GHJ, that's the one on the left, is congruent to the angle on the right is IHJ. Okay, if I want to do the side in the middle is easy. That's just HJ. But remember, when it's congruent to itself, you write the letters in the same order. Now we've got the second angle at the bottom. And again, if I say angle J, you don't know which one I'm talking about, so I have to do 3 letters. So the one on the left would be GJH, because remember the vertex has to be in the middle, is congruent to the angle on the right. J is a vertex, it's got to be in the middle, so IJH. If you said HJI, that's the same thing. Alright, let's write a congruent statement. So I'm going to say triangle GHJ. Well, G has got to match with angle I. Okay. H is at the top. J is your right angle. And it matches up. And again, it doesn't matter what you write for the first 3, but the second 3 have to match. Alright, let's see what we have here. The dashes mean congruent, so we've got a side, we've got the side in the middle, and we've got a right angle. So with 2 sides at an angle, the only thing that works is side, angle, side. So we ask ourselves, is this angle in between side 1 and side 2? No, it's not the included angle. So because it's not the included angle, it can't work. So this one spells a bad word. We can't have a bad word. But a bad word works if it's a right triangle. And this one is. So this is really hypotenuse, leg. Okay, so how does hypotenuse leg work? Well, This is just HL. So first we're going to name the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side they share. So that's BD is congruent to BD. The leg, well, the leg is the left and the right, so the left is BA. It's congruent to the right, which is CD. But we always have to do 3 facts. In a hypotenuse leg, that's just 2. So the third fact is that we have right angles, because that proves that we have a right triangle. So what are my right angles? Well, if I say angle A, you know exactly which angle I'm talking about. So I don't have to use 3 letters here, so I can just say A, and the other right angle is C, are right angles. You're not saying that they are congruent. They are, but that's not the point. We need to identify that we have right angles. Okay, so if I start with triangle BAD is congruent to, well, B is the one at the top here, and it's in between the 1 dash. It's in between the hypotenuse and the leg. So what matches between the hypotenuse and leg on the triangle on the right is D, so it's going to be angle D. Then I went to A was the right angle, so that's going to be C. And then B. All right, one more time. Now, remember, whoops. Okay, remember that these dashes mean congruent. So because of the dashes, I have a side. Okay. What else do I have? Well, vertical angles are easy to see, so I've got an angle. But I also have parallel lines. Anytime I have lines parallel, that means there's got to be an angle congruent. So let's see if we can find it. So if these are my parallel lines, now this time I can use either one as a transversal, and you'll get 2 different answers, but they're both correct. So I just have to pick one. So I'm going to use this as my transversal. So when I draw on the angle, it's got to go from parallel line to transversal. So here's my second angle, and I know those are congruent because they are alternate interior angles. So now I've got 2 angles and a side. When I look, is this side the included angle? The included side? Is it between angle 1 and angle 2? The answer is no. So this is not angle, side, angle. This is angle, angle, side. Now if you wrote side, angle, that's close, but it's not correct. Side, angle doesn't exist. What exists is angle, angle, side. All right, so let's write down angle 1. Angle 1 was the vertical angles. Well, if I just say Y, you don't know which angle I'm talking about, which means you're going to have to use 3 letters. So the one on the left is going to be X, Y, W. The one on the right, again, Y is the vertex, got to be in the middle, so Z, Y, V. Okay, the second angle were the alternate interior ones. Now if I say X, you know exactly which angle I'm talking about. So you can just use 1 letter here. Now if you use 3, it's not wrong. But why use 3 when you can use 1? All right, and the side, that's the left and the right. So the left is XW, and the right is ZV. Now let's make a congruent statement. So I'm going to say triangle, doesn't matter how I start, WXY. Okay, W is the blank angle. So if I look in this triangle, the blank angle is Z. X is angle 2, so X is going to match with V, and then Y. Okay, these last couple are a little bit different. We're going to prove these triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. But one fact is missing, so we got to figure out what fact is missing. So let's look. Well, I've got these angles congruent, so that's one fact. I've got these angles congruent, so that's a second fact. So what I'm missing is the side. Because this is angle, angle, side, it cannot be the included side. So the one it can't be is this one, because that's the side in between. So it cannot be that. So it's got to be one of the other ones. Does it matter? Not at all. Pick which one you like. Kind of like this one. So this side being congruent was the information that was missing. So I'm going to write NO is congruent to TA. That's the missing information we would need to prove these triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. Okay, now, or side, excuse me, angle, side. There's actually two answers. You could have used the left and the right, so you could have said NM congruent to KA. You need one or the other. All right, let's write a congruent statement. I'm going to start with M and O. Well, M is angle 1, so M has to match with K. N is the blank, so that's going to match with A. And T is double, so that's going to match with O. All right, let's see what's missing. Well, I've got the side in the middle, so that's one thing. Okay, I do not have dashes here. I have arrows. That does not mean they're congruent. So I don't have any other sides, but because I have parallel lines tell me that I'm going to have an angle. So if these are my parallel lines and this is my transversal, when I draw on the angle, it goes from parallel line to transversal, so there is my angle. So that is the second fact I have. So what I'm missing is the side, and I need to draw on the side so that it makes angle 1 the included angle. So if this is side 1 in the middle, there's the angle. This is the side that has to be included so that it's congruent, so that way angle is included. Okay, so that means the left has to be congruent to the right. So we're going to say SR is congruent to, I don't know if that's a T or a U, I'm going with U, whatever, or T or a V. That's not what I meant to say. I'm not sure if this is a U or a V. You can call it whatever you want. All right, the congruent statement. I'm going to say triangle RSU is congruent to triangle. Well, R is going to match with this one, T. S was angle 1, so that's going to match with this one, U. And then S. All right, last one. So I'm doing angle, side, angle. So I know I've got an angle. That works. I know the side is in the middle. So what I'm missing is an angle. And I want this third angle to sandwich the side 1. So the one that has to match are these down here. So that is what's missing. Now if I call this one angle D, I don't know if it's the left or the right, so I have to use 3 letters. D is the vertex, it's got to go in the middle. So the left I'm going to call angle ADB. And the right I'm going to call CDB. Now I want to write a congruent statement. So on the left I'm going to say, whoops, that's not a good triangle symbol. So on the left I'm going to say triangle ABD is congruent to the right. Well, A is the blank, so A's got to match with C. B's got the 1 arc mark, and then D. Okay, you will practice this in your homework, and then we'll expand it and go from it more next class.